So we get asked all the time, do you take trade-ins? Yes, we absolutely do. There are a couple of catches, there are a couple of conditions, and there are pros and cons to trading a vehicle with us and any other dealer that you may possibly work with. I'm Dean McRae, this is Car Corner with Dean's Deals, and I'm going to give you a few tips and a few tricks when considering trading your car. So when trading your car, there's a couple of things to think about. So if you come to a dealership like mine, you come on in here, you say, look, I'd like to buy a new car, I'd like to trade my old car, give me a valuation. Sometimes people ring up, and in the old days, you'd ring up and you'd get a bloke there who was relatively knowledgeable, and he'd go, yeah, I'll give you 10 grand for your car. You know, you'd give a very brief description of the car, he'd give you a number off the top of his head, and there'd be a bit of a guessing game go on. Not so much now, it's 2025. So, one, if you're in town, bring your car down. That allows myself or any other sales rep to give you a fairly accurate trade-in valuation with our valuer. So we have an on-site valuer plus external valuers that get to see all the information. What we do is we take our mobile phone, we follow an app, we go around, we look at the car, we look at all the details, we put in your number plate, we get the VIN numbers, we get the build used by, the build date, the rego date, or rego expiry date, and we go around your car bit by bit, step by step. We look for damage, we look for, tyre tread, we look for windscreens with chips, cracks and anything else. We'll take it for a drive, we'll go for a little run in your car 9 times out of 10, and we'll make sure that the car handles nicely. Now, some of us, if we're less or more experienced, we'll call in the on-site valuer if he's available to come down and check each car personally. Doesn't always happen, you've got to be a bit realistic in life. But what then happens is that entire package of a heap of photos, heap of information, heap of details, including the cleanliness, the workability, the service history is a huge factor for trade-ins. So if you're going to, if you're thinking down the track you want to trade in your car, you will lose value on your car if you have not been getting your car regularly serviced, ideally by the manufacturer of that car's approved mechanic. So if you're a Nissan driver, get your car serviced with Nissan. If you're an Isuzu driver, go to Isuzu. If you're going to be, Toyota, whatever, and so on and so forth. The reason being is the techs that work in those places generally are experts on those cars. So they should theoretically be in far better condition, far better looked after, and a far better prospective purchase for the next buyer. So once we've done that, we've looked at your service history, we've looked at the quality of the car, we've looked at the tread on your tyres, we then take it for a drive and we go, okay, this is a pretty good deal here, we like this car, it's not too bad, what are you trading in on? Because that can also affect the price of the car you're buying. There is a little bit of give and take there to play with, which is really, really important if you're moving forward. You can't come in and say, no, we're not trading a car and I just want 10 grand off the car, which I've had that. I've had people in theory give themselves 10, 15 grand discounts. If we had those sort of margins in our used cars, you would call me an absolute thief. Not true. We do not carry those sort of margins. That would be absolutely fanciful. So talk to us about it. If you've got that trade in, there may be a little bit of wiggle room on that price. Just depends on what your car's worth to the market versus what it's worth to our team here or any other dealer team. They may be looking at, they may have a customer that's looking for just the car that you possess, so you may get a little bit more for your trade-in. We may not have a customer whatsoever who's looking at the car you're looking at, so you may get a little bit less than you were hoping for. Here's a general tip. If you're looking and comparing a trade-in valuation from a dealership to say car sales or one of the other main websites, you are going to get less money because as a dealer, as a used car seller, we are in hot competition with car sales. So we can't undercut ourselves to the tune of, we buy it at the same market as car sales and then sell it to you. That would be silly, that would be foolish, there'd be no profit margin in it for us, and we aren't just doing it, we sell cars, we don't collect them. So that's worth considering. Now, people go, well, why wouldn't I just sell it on car sales? You're more than free to do so. I absolutely, if you want that couple extra grand, go for it. When you do that, right, you're not absorbing the reconditioning costs, the mechanical costs, the pink slip costs. If we need to put new tyres on your car, we do. You're going to sell it on car sales, as is no overheads, no safety net for the next prospective buyer. As a dealership, we like to offer our clients a next layer of, and it's not a perfect system, these are used cars, but it's not a perfect system, but we do like to try and offer that protection of, as soon as a trade comes in, it goes to the detailers. Then it goes over to a mechanic. We actually use an external mechanic for a lot of our resale. We do that because they love to charge us money, right? They love to bill us. They send us a bill. So they like to go through and be fairly thorough and make sure, and again, I'll say 9 times out of 10, 99 out of 100, however you want to look at it, they come back going, you need this, this, and this to make this car amazing. And then we'll go, okay, cool, let's work it out, do that, and that modifies the price. You don't get that when you do the private sale thing. The other thing too, when people are looking at car sales and shows like that, look at how long said car's been there. So if you're comparing your car with another 2 or 3 cars on car sales, look at the amount of time those cars have been on car sales. If it's 200-300 days, if you're happy to wait that long to get that extra couple of grand, go for it. If not, come see us, you'll get a couple of grand less. You'll get into your new car. You're using that as a bit of collateral, so that comes off the price. That helps you with your financing potentially if you're looking to finance, which most people these days finance the difference. But you're saving stress, aggravation. Do you want people ringing you, all day, every day like they do me, which is good for me, that's my job. But for you guys, do you want 50 phone calls a day from people going, test drive, can I test drive, can I book it, then they no-show? Do you want your wife, or wife, mother, father, depending on how it works out, sitting there dealing with random strangers coming to your house to test drive your car with no insurance cover whatsoever to effectively save yourself a couple of grand? Quite possibly. You may choose that, and more power to you. If you want to skip all that, you want to skip the hassle, you want to skip the harassment, you want to get straight down, this is the number, this is what we're going to give you for your car. Low stress, security issues are solved because obviously we're a reputable dealer around here. That's one way to go about it. So it's obviously well worth your while to consider the trade-in. Now, again, it is a little bit less than what you're going to get on the internet or on Facebook Marketplace and those sort of places, and they're great platforms. I use them all the time. But when you're looking at that trade-in valuation, you'll probably get a couple more dollars, which is great. More power to you to have that in your pocket. But when you're buying from those marketplaces, you've also got to consider what I've just said. It won't necessarily have a resale value. It may not have much of a service history. It may, have less on the tyres. It may, it hasn't been looked over by a mechanic. And if there are ongoing problems, you've got not a leg to stand on. Now, obviously as a dealership, we must offer at a very, very minimum a 3-month stat warranty. That's an Australian law. Not a dealership in Australia can get out of that. And that's a little bit of peace of mind for you. If you do buy a bit of a problem, it becomes our problem. We have to care for you, which we do anyway, but we're legally obligated to care for you deeply, and that's a good thing. Now, when I say that, we're gonna try and look after you the best we can. At my particular dealership, if you buy a used car from us that's under 10 years old, under 160,000 kilometers, you are eligible for our free 5-year, 200,000 kilometre warranty. Now there's some T's and C's and it's not an all-encompassing warranty, but it's free. Comes to the tune of about 3 grand over 5 years that we give as part of. So when you buy a car from us, you might be arguably paying X amount more than what you've paid online or from car sales or from Joe up the road. But we give you that little extra peace of mind that if you're servicing with us, our team is committed to taking care of you. A lot of other dealerships do the same thing, and it is one of the points of difference. So it's well worth noting that if you're going to trade in, there is some great value to working directly with a dealership as opposed to a private sale. And of course, if you're highly competent in the space and you're very, very comfortable free marketing, I'm all for it too. I'm not going to tell you you must trade with me by any stretch of the imagination. But that's kind of how it works, ladies and gentlemen. So you make the call, you let us know. We put the details in. We go deep on the details. We'll take your car for a drive, or the valuers will take the car for a drive. They'll come up with a number that they deem appropriate. That goes in, it comes into a bit of a negotiation with what you're planning to buy from us. And if all things are equal, we take that value off what you're buying. We get you into a new car that has undertaken all the safety and all the pre-sale checks that you just don't get online. So give us a call today, 0421 349 397 if you've got a car you want to trade, if you've got a car you want to buy. If I can help, I will. And stay tuned in to Car Corner at Dean's Deals on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your podcasts.